He has nothing to lose. With his violent past, he is extremely dangerous.
4 days later, the search continues for a state prisoner charged with murder and a corrections officer. What law enforcement officers are saying about the woman who is on the run with Casey White.
Health experts once again sounding the alarm on Alabama's low COVID vaccination rate. The risk they say it presents as hospitals brace for another potential wave.
And diesel prices climbing to record-breaking levels and showing no signs of slowing down. What's responsible for these historic highs? News 19 at 5 starts now.
You're watching North Alabama's news leader. This is News 19 at 5.
Law enforcement all across the state continuing to look for an inmate and a corrections officer who have apparently been on the run for now 4 days. That's our top story on News 19 at 5. I'm Christine Killemeyer.
And I'm Greg Screws. And at this moment, we do not know what vehicle they may be driving or where they may be heading. So take a look at your screen right now. These are the two people law enforcement are looking for, Casey White and Vicky White. Casey White charged with capital murder in the connection to a death of a woman in 2015 and was already serving 75 years in prison after being convicted for attempted murder, burglary, and kidnapping. Vicky White is the Assistant Director of Corrections at the Lauderdale County Jail and has been with the Sheriff's Office for 16 years. So if you see either one of these people, don't approach them. Call 911 immediately.
Now, News 19's Jerry Hayes joins us live in Lauderdale County following the story. So, Jerry, there's a lot of details that surround the situation.
Well, Christine, right now the biggest two questions over this situation are where are they now and how did Vicky White become involved with an inmate accused of murder? The Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton says that she's had a good record over the 16 years that she's been with the Sheriff's Department, but the day before she disappeared, she actually turned in her retirement papers. Earlier today, the Sheriff's Office issued an arrest warrant for Vicky White in connection to Casey White's escape. The sheriff says that he cannot be certain if she was coerced or even if there was a romantic relationship between the two, but for now, she is a suspect in this case. News 19's Addison Woolman was at the news conference earlier this morning. And Addison, what led the sheriff to believe that Vicky White was involved?
Jerry, surveillance footage shows that White was stopped at a red light miles away from the Lauderdale County Courthouse only minutes after leaving the Lauderdale County Detention Center with Casey White. Vicky White told other officers that she was transporting him to the Lauderdale County Courthouse for a mental health evaluation, but the tape tells a different story. The sheriff says under department policy, a single officer should never transport an inmate charged with capital murder alone, let alone one like Casey White, who is not only 6'9" and nearly 300 pounds, he has a history of escape attempts and violence.
That video was time-stamped at 9:49 a.m. Director White and Casey White left the detention center at 9:41 a.m. There was not enough time for them to even attempt to try to come to the courthouse and then get out there and be at that red light 8 minutes later.
According to Sheriff Singleton, Vicky White had talked about retiring for months, and Friday was supposed to be her last day working at the jail. She had told co-workers she planned to visit the beach. News 19 has now learned that Vicky White actually sold her home for $95,500 on April 18th. The U.S. Marshals Service is offering a $10,000 reward for any information that would lead to the arrest of Vicky and Casey White. The FBI, ATF, Secret Service, and Alabama Law Enforcement Agency are assisting in the search to find these two. For now, though, live in Lauderdale County, Addison Woolman, News 19.
Addison, thank you. Now, this is not Casey White's first significant encounter with law enforcement. In 2015, he was involved in a two-state crime spree that actually included the attempted murder of a former girlfriend and two other men and kidnapping. Now, that crime spree ended in Limestone County, and News 19's Dallas Parker actually talked with the man responsible for arresting Casey White back in 2015. Dallas?
That's right, Jerry. This afternoon, I sat down with former Limestone County Sheriff Mike Blakely. He arrested Casey White in 2015. Now, Blakely tells me he's known Casey White since he was a little boy, but he was a man on the run from law enforcement in 2 states when Blakely encountered him in December of 2015. Now, Blakely recalled the events leading up to the standoff between his deputies and White in 2015. He said White broke into his ex-girlfriend's house, shot at 2 of her friends, and shot her and killed her dog. Blakely says after that, White went on a hunt for a car, attempting 2 carjackings and successfully stealing a 3rd car. Following a late-night chase, Limestone County deputies cornered White, and that's when White began pleading for the sheriff to intervene.
Just put the gun down. The sheriff will be here in a minute, okay? I got there just a few minutes afterwards, and of course, you know, it was like a standoff. Everybody was there with their AR-15s, and Casey standing out in the middle of the roadway with 2 Glock 40 caliber pistols, one stuck to each side of his head, and talking about killing himself. And when I got to trying to talk to him, he wanted me to call his mama and tell her he loved her, and I kept trying to talk Casey into, you know, surrendering and telling him nothing was going to happen. He said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to make y'all kill me," which could have been a very, very bad scene, but I put him in my truck and brought him back up to the jail, where he stayed there for a couple of years before actually getting sentenced and being sent to the penitentiary.
Now, White received a 75-year state prison term for the events described by Blakely. He was in the midst of that sentence when he was transported to the Lauderdale County Jail after allegedly confessing to being contracted to for the 2015 murder of Connie Ridgway. Jerry.
Dallas, thank you. Once again, Greg said it a moment ago, we can't tell you this enough. If you see either of these 2 people, do not approach them. Call 911. We, of course, are going to continue to bring you the very latest from Lauderdale County throughout the night, online, on air, and on our app. Live in Lauderdale County, Jerry Hayes, News 19.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with Chief Meteorologist Danielle Dozier.
Well, good afternoon. I'm still tracking that severe thunderstorm that's moving through Madison County. For every city in that yellow box, that's where we have the storm that's going to be affecting your area. The storm is capable of producing some strong wind gusts as well as hail. We've continued to see this storm produce quite a bit of hail, and in fact, it is capable of producing quarter-sized hail as it moves to the north at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Let's zoom in here, and you can see with the storm track, it's the strongest is going to be over Meridianville Middle School at 5:16 and Hazel Green at 5:30. And again, I'm tracking it from the strongest portion here that we were once seeing. Looks like we still have some heavier rainfall that extends all the way up toward Meridianville right now. And then if you're east of Ryland, we do have a strong thunderstorm overhead, but that is not currently severe. As the radar gets put into motion, you can see how the cells are moving to the north at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, dumping heavy rain. There is frequent lightning associated with these storms, and we are watching for the possibility of some hail and some strong winds. Look at this hail core that's north of Florette right here in the area in pink and in black, so we'll keep our eye on that one. Also, we have a strong storm around the Union Grove area and some strong thunderstorms up here around Pulaski with some hail cores associated with that up in Tennessee. So again, the Weather Authority watching these closely for you, and if any new warnings are issued, we'll be certain to let you know. So guys, back to you. All right, Danielle, thank you. The state of Alabama is near the bottom when it comes to COVID-19 vaccination rates.
Just over 50% of the population fully vaccinated. And News 19's Emily Mosner joins us live in Huntsville. So, Emily, what are doctors telling you when it comes to vaccination rates?
Good evening. Well, both doctors I spoke with say that it isn't too late to get vaccinated. They say that if you started your series, you should finish it. Just over half the population of Alabama is fully vaccinated against COVID-19, but local doctors warn you need both shots of the 2-dose vaccine for it to be effective.
One vaccine, one shot, is not effective, and it's been shown it's really not useful. You're going to need to be having the whole series of vaccination.
Fully vaccinated means you got the initial dose and the second dose.
It's been shown it will make a huge difference if you get 2 shots.
Now, what if you got 1 vaccine dose a few months ago and never followed up? Doctors say it's not too late.
Really, the thing we worry about more are being too soon rather than too far away. Of course, we want people to get the doses on the recommended schedule based on their age and their other considerations. But in general, no, you don't have to restart the series. You can just pick up where you left off.
In addition to getting the initial series, doctors recommend a booster.
We know that the booster doses work, especially against going to the hospital, and especially in those that are at high risk.
When it comes to booster numbers, the state dashboard does not report the number of doses administered. However, the CDC says around 900,000 people in the state have gotten boosted. Even with falling COVID case numbers, Huntsville doctors recommend getting another dose if you are eligible.
If they know that they're due a dose of vaccine or are concerned, then they should go get that dose of vaccine. If they are one of those people, potentially those people that are over 50 that are considered for that second booster, that might be a decision that they may want to make with their healthcare provider.
Now, when it comes to another potential surge of the virus, both doctors say that getting vaccinated is your best protection. Live in Huntsville tonight, Emily Mosner, News 19.
Gas prices once again breaking records. This time it's diesel, with its cost per gallon increasing by nearly 58% in the last year.
News 19's Hannah Jones spoke with AAA about what all is contributing to the price hike.
Diesel fuel prices at an all-time high. The national average on Monday sitting at $5.32. This is 14 cents higher than what AAA reported the national average was Friday. And here in Alabama, averaging $5.10. In May 2021, the average price of a gallon of diesel fuel in Alabama was $2.87. That's $2.23 less than Monday's average. And now, the average cost of diesel more than $1 higher than regular unleaded gas. This also breaks records. The largest cent difference between regular and diesel gas was previously 98 cents, set in November 2008. Clay Ingram with AAA says the reason for the price increase is partly because of the war in Ukraine, but primarily due to increased demand.
Demand going up for diesel across the country. We're transporting more and more goods. People are shopping online. People are out spending money again like they weren't during COVID, because everybody was on lockdown and trying to stay at home as much as possible.
Ingram adds the prices will likely drive up the cost of consumer goods, as most products are transported by trucks powered by diesel engines. While unleaded gas costing less than it was mid-March, price per gallon still high. The national average is $4.19, and here in Alabama, $3.85. In Huntsville, Hannah Jones, News 19.
Ingram adds, for those who drive diesel-powered vehicles, it is important to price shop as much as you can. That actually helps to keep costs down.
Mariupol's been one of the hardest hit cities during the war in Ukraine, but some good news is finally coming out of there. We'll tell you more about the situation coming up.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast, sponsored by Greenway of the Shoals. Now, your Weather Authority forecast, sponsored by Greenway of the Shoals. No fees whatsoever on your next car. A new way, the right way. Greenwayoftheshoals.com.
Good afternoon. Taking a live look at the radar right now, we continue to track showers and thunderstorms across the Tennessee Valley, some of which have been producing some hail and some strong winds and pulsing up to severe level limits. The warning that we had in effect for Huntsville, places like Meridianville, that warning has been allowed to expire now that the storm has weakened in intensity, but we still have moderate to heavy downpours over Meridianville. Wanted to let you know we have some strong weather that's ongoing west of Holly Tree and north of Holly Tree around the Princeton area. Some heavy rain, some frequent lightning. Not quite seeing a strong hail core with that one just yet, but we'll let you know if anything changes. You can see north of Union Grove, we also have a strong downpour with some lightning, the potential for some very small hail. And this cell that's south of Somerville has really pulsed up as well. Areas in pink are indicative of where we're seeing some hail associated with this storm. A lot of lightning and some heavy rainfall. Want to take you up into Tennessee. If you're around Pulaski, very strong thunderstorm over here with a hail core associated with it, especially north and west of the city. So right in here, that's where we're detecting some hail. Also want to take you out toward the Shoals, where we've got a strong thunderstorm that is west of Colbert Heights. You can see the heavy rain in red, frequent cloud to ground lightning. Tuscumbia, Sheffield getting hit right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing a little bit of hail associated with that. All of these are moving very slowly to the north at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, and they will be capable of producing those very heavy downpours as well as the potential for hail and gusty winds. This is a live look from our Tuscumbia camera right now, and earlier, just a few moments ago before stepping on camera, you could actually see the rain shaft associated with it, now just kind of a wall of water, 77 degrees there. You can see these are the storm impacts, as I mentioned, we'll be watching out for. There's no tornado threat out there this evening. Temperature-wise, we're in the 70s and 80s. We have 70s where there's been some rain. Elsewhere, we're in the 80s, places like Scottsboro and Fort Payne. Today in Huntsville, we reached 87 degrees. It's the warmest since October 1st. We've had a bit of a heat index too at times today because of the moisture in the air with dew points over 60. So you can see it feels like 86 in Scottsboro, feels like 82 right now in Coleman. Tonight, low temperatures will be falling down into the middle 60s. We'll be tracking this chance for a few showers and thunderstorms that will be pulsing up with the heating of the day, and especially across northwest Alabama as we head into tonight. So this rain is going to continue to move across North Alabama and southern middle Tennessee. Later on tonight, that's clearing out, and as we head into tomorrow, we'll be dealing with a mix of sunshine and clouds, very warm air with temperatures in the middle 80s, and we could actually have wind gusts up to 20 and 25 miles per hour. Warm and humid through the end of the week with chances for showers and storms, and then keeping it dry for Mother's Day weekend. Wanted to let you know we're brand new here with the extended forecast for the Shoals and Sand Mountain. If you're just joining us, we debuted this today. Really think this is going to benefit you guys living in these areas, so hope you tune in each and every day to catch your latest forecast as we head through the next 7. Shower and storm chances, very warm and humid as well. And we also are talking about Hurricane Preparedness Week. We have meteorologist Jessica Kamuta, who's in studio tonight with us for the very latest on that. Jess?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Danielle. So last year, in the year of 2021 for the hurricane season, 21 total hurricanes or named storms were the case for that season. Behind me, this is the damage that was left behind the strongest storm of that season. That was Hurricane Ida. It was a Category 4 hurricane, and taking a look at the track of the Hurricane Ida, it developed in the Caribbean, and then it progressed its way towards the north and east over the warm waters of the Gulf. That's when it really strengthened up. The warm waters of the Gulf really helping to strengthen it. It made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane in Louisiana. As it continued its track and the remnants moved here, we dealt with some localized heavy rainfall. The National Weather Service and the Hurricane Committee, they have actually retired the name of Ida. That is the 12th I named storm to be retired. And since 1953, there have been 94 names that have been completely retired from the list. And you can see Ida has been ranked as one of the 5th costliest hurricanes on record for the United States. Christine.
All right, Jessica, thank you. The first civilians evacuated out of the bombed-out steel plant, which has become the last stronghold of Ukrainian fighters in Mariupol. More than 100 civilians, including elderly women and mothers with small children, left the sprawling steel mill yesterday. They set out for the Ukrainian-controlled city of Zaporizhzhia. The steel plant evacuation, if successful,
would represent rare progress in easing the human cost of the almost 10-week war. Previous attempts to open safety corridors out of the southern port city and other places have broken down, with Ukrainian officials accusing Russian forces of shooting and shelling along agreed-upon evacuation routes.
So maybe, Christine, somebody should call Peter Sellers or Steve Martin, because there is a comically large diamond up for auction. How much they're looking to sell it for, coming up.
So in a secure room at the legendary Christie's Auction House, there was a rare opportunity to view a diamond so massive it doesn't seem real. It's one of the largest diamonds in the world, worth an estimated $30 million. And it is finally making a public debut when it goes up for auction this month at Christie's Auction House. The jewel, mined in South Africa 20 years ago, the owner, who plans on remaining anonymous, now plans to auction it through Christie's, where some of the most famous and expensive objects in the world have been sold.
Especially when the numbers get to the 20, 30, 50, $100 million level. You know, it can get tense. There's a lot of money on the table. So the auctioneer has to make sure that the energy in the room is very positive.
All right, so they say the diamond, if you're looking for comparison here, is similar in size and weight to a chicken egg. Who doesn't love that comparison? Some buyers have already expressed interest. It's estimated they'll need roughly $20 to $30 million to take home the diamond. The auction is open to the public. Not everyone can bid on it, though, obviously. You can watch the auction live on Christie's YouTube page on May 11th. Just don't drop it in the ocean at the end of the movie.
Wow.
I'm sorry, spoiler alert. I should have said spoiler alert first.
Let me see. I don't have anything the size of an egg.
The size of an egg.
But I do have the microphone that we use here.
Yes.
So let's, all right, put your hand up.
Yes, good.
So if you were going to use this for a ring, it would be about like that. So just go home and tell the husband.
Yes.
You have an idea. That's what it would look like.
I mean, if you can afford it, you're probably not doing a lot of household chores.
Right.
It's just a
And if you
gift.
can afford it, you know, you probably buy two. Absolutely.
Seriously, big news this
Use the perspective there.